Hello and welcome to another trip report. Today, we'll be flying with Philippines AirAsia from the new Clark International Airport to Caticlan Airport, which is the gateway to the world-famous Boracay Island. It's 7:50 a.m. and we're currently approaching the vicinity of the airport. I've flown out of Clark Airport several times before, but this is gonna be my first time flying out of this new terminal, which was opened last year. That's actually kinda weird considering I live just a few minutes away from this airport. Also, this new terminal is massive compared to the teeny tiny old one. Anyway, since I'm driving, I'll have to head straight to the airport parking lot before heading inside. Clark International Airport has a huge parking lot, as you can see. Now that we're parked, let's head inside the terminal. With how huge this parking lot is, I hope I don't forget where the car is when I get back. We're currently passing through the airport's bus terminal where you can get buses connecting several areas including Manila. The bus terminal connects with the airport terminal through this long walkway. And now we're at the arrivals area, so we'll have to take the escalators up to the third level for departures. As usual, a security guard will check your flight details before allowing entry into the terminal. And welcome to Clark International Airport's new terminal. This is a huge improvement compared to the old one for sure, and pretty much any other airport in the Philippines, especially for domestic flights. I was hoping to try printing my boarding pass through the self-check-in kiosks, but some are out of service, and while you can select AirAsia on those that work, it's not available. So I guess we'll have to go to the counters. AirAsia uses counters D01 to D05 on the far left side of the terminal. The counters have just opened and there is a very long queue. I've already checked in online and my luggage is already in Boracay thanks to my brother who flew there yesterday. So I'll just be heading to the counter to have my boarding pass printed, as I like to keep them for my personal collection. It wasn't really a problem though, as we do have lots of time to kill and the queue did move really quickly. Interestingly, everyone is asked to wear their face mask already despite it being required only inside the aircraft. Staying in the queue and the check-in process took about 20 minutes, which is decent considering the amount of people at the counters. Now we can go around the terminal as we still have about an hour and a half to kill before boarding, and I'm deciding whether to get breakfast at Bluesmith, located just by the counters, or at the food court level. Clark Airport has a food court level similar to other large airports around the world. Let's check out what they have there. Sadly, it's only accessible by stairs when coming from the pre-departure area. Right now, there are only 5 establishments and 3 of them are still closed. Now, I want to see our gate, and if ever, we can always go back to the pre-departure area anyway for that Bluesmith coffee since we're flying domestic. After a quick security check, we're now heading to Gate 1 where our flight is assigned to board. This area we're passing through looks reserved for shops, though all are still unoccupied. Hopefully soon shops can open to put life into this terminal. Also, we came across a golf cart, maybe for passengers with special needs and those running late for their flights. And we're now in Gate 1, and I love how bright and airy this terminal feels. Sadly, there are no aircraft parked at the ramp just yet, maybe in a little bit. There's only one food establishment at the gate area for domestic flights right now, and it's called CRK or Clark Quick Bites. which is pretty much just a convenience store. So yeah, I'll be heading back out to get some better food choices for breakfast. While waiting, I quickly checked Flight Radar 24 to see our flight status. There's no information yet on the arrival of our assigned aircraft. And there it is, having just taken off from our destination, and will probably arrive in about an hour. Our plane arrived at 9:49 AM. Hopefully, it won't take too long to wait for its turnaround. Our assigned aircraft today is an Airbus A320-200, registered as RPC 8940. It was delivered to Philippines AirAsia in June 2018 after serving for the parent AirAsia. It was originally delivered to them in June 2007, making it over 16 years old today. Boarding was called at exactly 10 AM, which is weird considering the aircraft was not yet connected to the air bridge and passengers on the previous flight have not yet disembarked. Boarding is also done by zone number depending on where you're seated on the aircraft. I'm on zone 1, so I'll patiently wait as I'm seated up front anyway. After a few minutes, I was called by the ground staff to proceed downstairs, so I joined the queue. And going down revealed that all passengers are being held with several queues, probably to expedite the ground activities at the airport. This means standing for a longer time though, as all passengers would have to be in the queue at the same time. Good thing the air bridge provides us with a nice view of the ramp and the terminal. Also, AirAsia advertises priority boarding for passengers seated on hot seats. That definitely wasn't the case here. Anyway, our aircraft features 180 seats in a standard 3-3 all-economy configuration. I pre-selected seat 4F, sold as a hot seat by AirAsia, and is in the first few rows of the aircraft. This costed me an additional 450 pesos. And as soon as I saw my seat, someone else was seated on it, and was even hesitant to give way to me. Thankfully, the cabin crew helped me out. Anyway, as soon as I sat down, the doors were closed, and in just a few minutes we began our pushback and the cabin crew began their safety demo.
The mask over your nose and mouth, with a headband tightly around your head, and breathe normally. Place your own mask first before assisting others under your care. Your life vest is found under your seat. On water landing, remove sharp objects from your body. Slip vest over your head.
We of course immediately began our taxi to runway 20, and we did hold our position on the taxiway for quite a while. And after what seemed like an eternity, we finally continued to the runway. It's currently 10:46 AM, so we're a bit behind schedule, and not long later, we were holding position again. Finally, at 10:52 AM, we were lining up on runway 20 and ready for our departure for Caticlan Boracay. Our ascent was a bit turbulent due to weather in the surrounding areas. The seatbelt sign was switched off after a few minutes and buy on board service immediately started. Pre-booked meals will be distributed first, and other meals will be available for purchase. I won't be getting anything as I already had breakfast earlier. If you do want to buy something, cash and Visa and MasterCard payments are accepted. Now let's talk about what my seat features. In the seat pocket is a catalog for the in-flight duty-free, as well as a safety card and air sickness bag. You'll also notice the ad for the Chang'an CS55 Plus, which I found quite coincidental as my job does involve reviewing cars. Be sure to check out my car review of the Chang'an CS55 Plus on the AutoPH YouTube channel, which you can see in the description of this video or in the comments. Legroom is also a bit better on this seat as it is in the forward section of the aircraft. Honestly though, the cabin is not in the best condition. The seat pocket is worn out and the seat itself feels a bit dirty. Not surprising, given the age of this aircraft, but a little bit of proper cleaning does go a long way. Well, now the cabin smells like instant noodles, and sad how the windows are all scratched up. No Instagram photos from this flight then.
For convenience, it is now 12 minutes past the 11.
And about 5 minutes later, the captain did his announcement, and will be descending in a few minutes. Short flight. We're expected to touch down at 11:35 a.m. And not too long after, at 11:20 a.m., the seatbelt sign was switched on for our descent. Oh, by the way, Boracay is already visible from where we are. And as we approach Caticlan Airport, let's sum up my flight experience today. Clark's new airport terminal is pretty good, except for the security line which took forever on my second passage. Check-in was pretty quick despite the long lines, and the ground staff surely were efficient. What actually delayed it were slower and big groups of families who were congregating at the counters despite them having completed check-in. I'm not a fan of the boarding process as I felt that I was standing longer than I should have. But if it makes the process faster for the airline, then sure. I do wish they would have priority boarding for hot seats as advertised. I also really appreciate the cabin crew for helping me make the passenger who took my seat transfer to his own seat. Also, observing them doing their service, I saw that they were friendly and quick in doing the buy on board service. Well, they really had to, as the flight was really short. The cabin of the aircraft does surely need a bit of maintenance, but I was already expecting it. Overall, for the price I paid at a little over 8,000 pesos round trip, booked less than a week ago, it seems pretty worth it. Hopefully, we do get a better experience at least with the aircraft cabin condition once we go back home also on AirAsia.
Cabin crew visit as well.
And that was quite the landing. But it's a short runway, so it's expected.
Yes, we have landed at Boracay Airport. For your safety, please remain seated until the seatbelt sign is switched off. Be careful when opening the overhead compartment, and please ensure you have all your personal belongings with you before leaving the aircraft.
And before we disembark, here's a quick look at the hot seats. I wasn't able to get this earlier as I was one of the last passengers to board. And many years later, we're still using Caticlan Boracay Airport's temporary arrivals terminal, while the under construction terminal was stopped, rusted away, and has since been dismantled. This really is a bad thing for what is one of the most popular beaches in the world. We also experienced seeing this Cebu Pacific Airbus A320 pulling up into its parking bay, something that you don't really experience all the time when you fly. Anyway, without check-in baggage, we can just go straight out of the terminal and head for Boracay. That ends this trip report, and I'll see you again in the next.